FC. We're recording this on Christmas Eve, everyone. Hooray!
Merry Christmas.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Stevie. Oh, the excitement for the holidays is palpable from Steve Nicol. Don has got his rubbishy old Christmas jumper on that he wears every year. The Newcastle.
Yes.
He's got that for free, definitely from somewhere. Julien Laurent joins us as well, of course. Boxing Day is the big day in the Premier League. Unfortunately, 3 matches are postponed as we go to air. We know that they will not be taking place. Liverpool against Leeds, Wolves against Watford, Burnley against Everton. As it stands, the rest are on, including Manchester City against Leicester City. Of course, the big news coming out of City this week is Ferran Torres and his imminent departure to go and sign for Barcelona. So what are they going to do? Maybe bring in a striker to replace him? This is what Pep Guardiola had to say about that option.
Last question, no. He's not going to bring any striker in January.
He's going to replace with what?
I think he likes being asked that question. You just ask him it every day. Jules, what's interesting, listening to the latest edition of your podcast, you were quite confident that he would bring in someone in January.
Yeah, someone doesn't have to be a striker, but usually in a squad like that, with the planning that those kind of clubs have in place, and Pep Guardiola and Chiqui Begarishan especially, they usually replace a body by another body when they let someone like Ferran Torres go. I don't think they expected him to leave so early in his Man City career. They invested money on him and a lot of time. I think Pep was happy in the way he was molding him into a striker, into a centre forward. But Ferran wanted to leave. He didn't feel like he was playing enough for his liking. He felt there was a key moment in his career, so he wanted to go, and that's why we think that Pep will, if he can, will replace him, whether that's a striker and trying to go and get a Vlahovic, a Kane, a Haaland, whoever you want, or another position. I think he will have the space. Let's not forget, in the summer, he had to offload someone, Bernardo Silva, Torres, Sterling, Mahrez, to bring Kane or Ronaldo or whoever else they wanted. They could not do that. That's why there was no signing, certainly in attacking positions. So now it could be different. He could finally do it if he wanted to.
What would you do, Don, if you were City in this January transfer window?
I think you can see by Pep's reaction, Dan. I think he finds it all a little bit tedious, doesn't he? Because every time they win a game. But every time they win a game, they don't need a striker. Every time they lose a game, they need a number 9. I think he's bored with it. I don't think he'll do anything. I think they'll probably wait till the summer.
The right thing to do, Steve?
No, I think I'm with Jules. It makes sense. You know, you're by the sounds of it, Begiristain has always got somebody in his sights, so that when something like this happens,
right,
then one goes out and one comes in. As far as a centre forward, again, I agree with Jules. If it's a Harry Kane or a Haaland,
you're not going to get them in January, are you?
Well, no. But right. if that is possible, then he'll do it.
Won't be in January.
Well, he just said we're not getting the number 9. Look,
right.
I know the chances are probably 0.
Okay.
But although he says we're not going to number 9, if one of them was available, he would do it in a heartbeat. But the fact is that if that's not available, then he's probably quite happy with what he's got.
Do they need one, Shaq?
What we've seen so far, absolutely not. And listen, as much as they were trying to get a striker in the summer, so it quite clearly is in the front of his thinking, I believe that's more long-term, well, in the summer, at the very least. Right now, unless you can get absolutely the right person at the right price, I don't see why you upset the chemistry that's in the squad right now. If you bring in somebody and have to somehow shoehorn him into the starting lineup, I just wonder how that affects City and the form that they're seeing right now. So I don't expect them to be splashing out major cash that all of a sudden has somebody arriving that has to fit in, has to go onto the starting sheet.
You don't have a Spria in your brain by any chance, do you?
Do you need one? Do you need one?
Oh, you need a striker?
Yeah. Do they need a striker, Stevie? Are you changing your mind on that?
We're talking City here.
Yeah, of course we're talking City. Who else are we talking about?
No, absolutely. I wasn't sure. Yeah.
But why? Why? They're top of the league.
I still believe, right? I still believe that if they had a Harry Kane or a Haaland or a fit Aguero, that would have been the difference of them being Champions League winners.
Or maybe if Pep hadn't messed around with his tactics.
Hey, listen, I am just giving you what I think. If that's what you think, then I'm not going to argue with you.
But they're top of the league. They're top of the league without a striker, aren't they? They're arguably the best team in Europe at the moment.
You're not getting bored throwing that at me.
What? Facts?
No, but you don't understand what I'm saying. OK, they won the Premier League without a recognised number 9 goal scorer, Aguero type.
Yes.
I am saying that, you know what, if they had one of those, I think they might have won the Champions League. Right. Because they had a night when you don't have a recognised number 9 like an Aguero, you can have nights where you're not at your best. Your movement's not great. We're talking about how great the movement is. Well, what happens if on a night the movement's not there? That's when your Aguero type or Haaland or a Kane gets that goal from absolutely nowhere. I'm not saying Man City are not fantastic the way they are, because they are. But you know what? See that? That's the difference between the Champions League and not.
But isn't that Pep's fault for messing around with the starting 11?
I mean, you can say that, but that doesn't change that they didn't have a goal scorer.
Well, they made it to the final. They made it to the final.
He messes around with a lot of teams a lot of the time and does things a lot of the time that we find a little strange. But he gets victories. And as you keep throwing at me, you can't argue with victories. But at the same time, if he hadn't played around with his side, the fact that they didn't have a recognised goal scorer, they still might not have won the Champions League.
Right. Don?
I still think they need one, Dan. And you look at all the numbers and they go against everything I'm saying, because they're averaging 2.5 goals a game and they're flying and they're beating teams by 4s and beating teams by 7s. And they've got people like Cole Palmer coming through the ranks. But if Erling Haaland or Vlahovic, as Jules mentioned, or Harry Kane, and these guys come in, especially Haaland and Harry Kane at the moment, Vlahovic is absolutely flying this season and he's going to be an absolute world beater. He has to improve City's squad. He has to be a different dimension, as Stevie said, when things are not going right. Listen, I'm not suggesting you put any of them boys on the bench, but those guys are game changers. Those guys are proper centre forwards, and they will wait and sniff for chances. And who knows, if they're averaging 2.5 goals a game with Harry Kane or Haaland or Vlahovic in the side, it might just go up to 3. And as Stevie said, it might just be that vital moment in the Champions League final that these guys, these big guys, normally step up.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.